So, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word grammar? Is it tenses, parts of speech, conjunctions, phrases, clauses, or all those rules that you have studied in schools? For example, that we should not use the double negatives, that we should not start a sentence with conjunction, and that a preposition is a bad word to end a sentence with. Or is it about learning rules of direct and indirect, or rules for changing active into passives? We are always told by our teachers how the language should or ought to be used. So this kind of approach to grammar is called prescriptive grammar. One way to remember this association is to think of going to doctor's office. When a doctor gives you a prescription for medication, it often indicates direction about how you should take those medications and what you should not do when taking medications. So in a similar way, a prescriptive grammar tells you how you should speak and what type of language to avoid. This is commonly found in language classes, where the aim is to teach people how to use language in proper or correct way. So all those years you have studied English grammar in schools and colleges was a prescriptive grammar. Don't you remember that stereotypical uptight and angry high school teachers who prescribe like medicine for what troubles you, how you should or ought to speak? I remember once my teacher called my name and asked whether I was present. And I replied, "Yup, sir." I still remember the look on his face, as if I had committed a crime. I still do not use that word, even though it is commonly used in English language these days. So this type of approach, prescriptive approach, is of course helpful, and especially for non-native learners, because it has certain rules of language which reduces confusion and ambiguity among students. For beginners, it is very useful to be taught how language should be used. Prescriptive grammar helps to draw a language system in their mind, and this certainly makes learning the language easier for them. When the learners know prescriptive grammar, it will be easier for them to write in the target language. So prescriptive grammar teaching creates better writers. English is our official language, and that is the reason that we in schools for 10 years and in colleges for 2 years study these grammar rules. Prescriptive grammar is very helpful if you want to write formal letters or essays or research papers. A student must learn all these rules. But it seems almost impossible that every speaker will follow the same kind of rules. If we take example of English, it is probably the most spoken and written language in the world, with around 500 million native speakers and the same number of bilingual speakers in several dozen particularly English-speaking countries, and hundreds of millions more users in other countries where English is known and used in business, government, and media. A language so widely distributed naturally has many varieties. These are known as dialects. So we will not describe all the different dialects of English here. We will concentrate on one central dialect that is particularly important, the one that we call Standard English. Well, it is not easy to give a brief definition of English, but we can make few remarks about its spatial status. Too many varieties of English spoken around the world differ mainly in pronunciation or accent, and to a lesser extent in vocabulary. But things are very different with grammar, which deals with the form of sentence and smaller units, that is clauses, phrases, and words. The grammar of Standard English is much more stable and uniform than its pronunciation and word stock. There is remarkably little dispute about what is grammar and what is not. Of course, there are these small number trouble spots like who or whom, where do we use whom, and where do we use who. Moreover, in its written form, Standard English is regarded worldwide when it comes to writing editorial on serious subjects in any English newspaper, whether in Britain, USA, Africa, or in Pakistan. Alongside Standard English, there are many local, regional, and social dialects of English that are clearly non-standard. But nowadays, we all are familiar with these non-standard English languages because of movies or social media or songs. For example, if in standard English we say, I did it myself, in non-standard English we find these sentences quite often while the characters talking to one another. So they use this non-standard sentence that is, I done myself. Another example is if I say I haven't told anybody. Now in non-standard English they use the double negative and they say I ain't told anybody. Now in standard English, ain't is not a word and they say it ain't a word. So when my students tell me that they have started watching movies to improve their English, I tell them that they will be able to improve speaking and listening skills, but they won't be able to improve writing because we cannot use these non-standard English sentences in writing. And I also tell them that there are these grammar Nazis who will always tell you and criticize you that you have used a wrong sentence or a wrong word. So if you learn from movies, you won't be able to handle these Nazis, grammar Nazis. And then there is this formal and informal English. Formal English, for example, if we say she's taller than I, and in informal English, mostly in spoken, we can say she's taller than me. Or for example, he was the one with whom she worked is a formal way of saying it. And in informal way or spoken language, we can skip this whom word and can say he was the one she worked with. So if you see in these two pairs, both versions belong to standard English. Informal style is by no means restricted to speech. Informal style is now quite common in newspapers and magazines. They generally use a mixture of styles. For example, a little more informal for some topics and a little more formal for others. And informal style is also becoming more common in printed books on academic subjects. But these grammar Nazis will not even spare you here and will tell you that you cannot use informal English in writing. So and most of the rules, the grammar rules these Nazis love to talk about are not really rules at all. The truth is, English does not have many concrete laws. Its grammar is changing all the time and is very much open to creative criticism or creative interpretations. So that's one of the reasons English is loved all over the world. For example, did you know that famous split infinitive rule is actually derived from Latin, a long dead language? Stick to it too closely in English and you end up with some pretty unnatural sounding sentences like she used to secretly admire him. While some people think it should be avoided at all cost and would rewrite the sentence as she used secretly to admire him. So, and like for example, if you think like in schools, it was always confusing why we use shall with first person pronoun I and we and will with other pronouns and nouns. And when we memorized and finally got used to saying I shall we shall and he will. We were told that the rule has changed and now people use shall and will with all pronouns. So language is not that thing. It grows and changes every time. When a child learns a language, the language reproduces itself. English language has always evolved, and that's what it means to be a living language. Internet and social media is increasing the pace at which the language changes. Digital media has become so crucial to our communication that it has created a new type of language. For example, like this Oxford Online Dictionary has been making these headlines for accepting words that are widely used on internet as part of English vocabulary. For example, you know this word selfie. Now, this word was existed for a century, but became popular when people, with the help of their smartphones, started taking photos of themselves and then started uploading and sharing them on internet or on social media. Another word like this unlike word. Now the like button on this in Facebook has created a new meaning to this already existing word unlike or unfriend. Or for example, tweet. Now this tweet word is also from internet, and it is a very special word because for this word Oxford Dictionary bypassed the requirements that is for a new word and meaning to be in use for a minimum 10 years before they even enter the dictionary. So this one is a very special word, tweet, and is very common these days. Another thing is if you see this another word, photobomb. Now photobomb means spoil photos or by appearing in the camera's field as a prank or a practical joke. So photobomb is a new word in the dictionary and it is from internet. Another is like, for example, inbox, or for example OMG, or OLO, LOL, or for example hashtag, or for example this another word is like you must have heard this word, or troll means, and it is mostly used by these politicians and especially by Pakistani politicians. It means like make a deliberate, offensive or provocative online posting with the aim of upsetting or get an angry response from somebody. So all these words are from internet, and every day we get these new words all the time. So who decide to aid these new words in dictionary? Linguists and descriptive grammarians. Through survey, they find these new words and then add them to dictionary. Unlike prescriptive that tells which word is correct and which one is not. It will tell you how people use the language. So descriptive focuses on describing the language as it is used, not saying how it should be used. So descriptive grammar would try to describe how the mental grammar can cause that ordering of words, rather than saying that the surface form is faulty due to prescriptive rules. A key contrast is to be found between these two approaches. A descriptive grammarian would say that a sentence is grammatical if a native speaker of the language would produce that sentence in speaking. The descriptive grammarian would try to describe how the sentence is produced by studying mental process that lead up to the surface form. A prescriptive grammarian, on the other hand, would say that something is grammatical only if it follows a set of rules that the grammarian believes would be followed. Again, linguists aim to provide a descriptive grammar of language. In this course, we will use data based on surface forms, that is spoken and produced data, and we'll try to describe how these surface forms occur through process in the mental grammar. To conclude, on the prescriptive side, you have people who are very much by the book. Language has rules. It should be correct, use proper words, commas, places, split infinitives, don't use double negative. Writing belongs over here, the prescriptive side, but formal writing, for example, official letters or essays or academic research papers, not text or posts on Twitter or Facebook, while descriptive belongs to speakers. So they say whatever people describe their language, which is why we have words like ant that are part of our language, whereas before they were not. So language is always changing, and you never stop learning new words like YOLO, you only live once. So if you think language should have certain rules, you are on the prescriptive side. But if you think however I speak is how the language should be, or however the majority speaks is how language should be, you are on the descriptive side. There are certain regions of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa where people speak Pashto differently. They do not necessarily speak proper Pashto, but that does not mean their language is wrong. I make grammatical errors all the time when I'm speaking. I'm using words that I should not use. I'm speaking incomplete sentences at times. So did Shakespeare's character on the stage. It doesn't mean it is wrong. It is serving a different purpose. So if it is written, I'm on the prescriptive side. If it's spoken and artistic, I'm on the descriptive side. What Pablo Picasso said, learn the rules like pro so you can break them like an artist. The purpose of this introductory lecture was to tell you that grammar is not always boring. Descriptive grammar can be interesting to know how people use language and not just memorize rules for exams.